Welcome to Mighty Married Moms. Join us at our kitchen table twice a week as the Mighty Married Moms, Debbie, Linda, Wendy, invite spectacular guests to weigh in on staying sexy, vibrant, and healthy, building marriages with soul-satisfying connection, raising happy, healthy, successful kids. Conversations with Mighty Married Moms will bring you closer to the life you really want. Episode 119. Hi, this is Wendy Williams, and marriage happiness is way possible. ConnectAgain.org is very happy to sponsor Mighty Married Moms. We are partners in bringing you closer to the life you really want. Visit us today for marriage boosts at ConnectAgain.org.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Mighty Married Moms. I'm Debbie Owen from YouCanRaiseGreatKids.com.
Wendy Williams from ConnectAgain.org.
And Linda Tighe from AllWellBreaksLoose.com.
And we just had an exciting and fun conversation
Oh my
with
gosh.
the effervescent
Love.
Dana Wilde from themindawareshow.com.
Where did she get that name? Did she marry that name? Or
No,
'cause she
that's
is
her
kind of
name.
wild.
She's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Dana, you're a wild woman.
She
We
is
love
a
you.
wild woman in the best of all possible
That's
meanings.
right.
Yes.
That's right. So what we were talking about with Dana is how important it is to train your brain, because there's so many stupid things that people keep telling you. You should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be, making all the phone calls, you should be being patient, you should be, well, great, but how do you do that?
Right.
What's the underlying way that you can actually access the ability to do that? And Dana has put together, from her own experience, from her research, and from some other stuff that she's done, she has developed this awesome program called Train Your Brain. And what you do is you handle yourself. You deal with yourself, because we've said this before. You can't control anyone else out there. Mm-hmm. You can only control yourself. And so you got to start with what's going on up in your head. Start with your thoughts. Mm-hmm. And once you change your thoughts, you can change everything else. Although sometimes if you change your actions, that will also change your thoughts. And it's the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, and the actions. Those four things. I think of it kind of as like the wheels of a car.
Right.
And all four wheels need to be going together. Your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and your actions.
Interesting. Wheels of a car.
Wheels
As opposed
of a
to
car.
going in different directions.
Yeah.
And what I thought was interesting, too, is she made no apologies, or she was very clear that the end game is happiness.
Yep.
That when we are happy, when we are feeling the groove and in the zone and feeling happy, things happen in our lives. We can accomplish things that we didn't think that we could accomplish, but we need to get to happy. And I just thought, I don't know, where about, it just is it's a much finer word than positive.
Yes.
Or peaceful, or uncluttered. Happy is very specific.
I think some people feel guilty if they're happy.
Yes.
They're like, I should be doing something. Why am I feeling so happy?
Well, I grew up as a WASP, a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. I'll tell you, happy's not on the list. It isn't. It isn't. That's like superficial, and I don't know what it is, but it's not on the list of things. Industrious, nose to the grindstone.
We're New Englanders, right?
New Englanders,
Mm-hmm.
hearty stock and all that stuff. Happy? It's not on the list.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel guilty for there's a guilt associated with trying to chase happiness. But what
Yes,
she's saying is that happiness is actually the key to being industrious, to being productive, to being contributive, to being a help in the world. And so it's like, it's really messing with me. It's messing with me.
I think the key word you just said was chase. And I think that we're always feel like we're chasing it. And as she said, you hear, think positive, right? Think I am abundant, I am successful, and somehow, but we have learned, I think now in a lot of places that your inner voice, or that bigger piece that you're not as in tune with your unconscious mind, is saying, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not successful. You're not happy. You are not. You're never going to have abundance. You're always going to be broke. And this is, what are you kidding yourself? And so I love what she has put together, and I love the process. I think that is just so important, because you cannot jump from A to Z. You have to take the steps along the way.
Demonstrate that process for us.
Yeah. So, well, I don't want to be on the spot to demonstrate it completely, but she definitely, we use the example of I'm broke, right? And I think I hear a lot of people say it. I know I've said it to myself. My husband and I say it to ourselves. We have and it's hard to say, how can you imagine everybody else is going to be wealthy, but how are you ever going to get there? And so you always imagine that you won't be. So she takes you through a process of getting to start with being hopeful, start with where you're at, well, this is how I'm feeling, but maybe there's a possibility that something can change for me, and I'm open to the possibility that something could change for me, and I'm hopeful that there's something that can, you know what, other people have done it before, so if other people have figured out, they've gone from this point to another point, then probably there's a chance that I could figure it out
could do it too.
And as you go through this process with her, it really feels like a lift, you know,
weight's
the weight
being
off your
lifted.
shoulders, just, yeah, you feel lifted up.
And it's so funny that you just said, oh, I don't know if I want to be put on the spot to do that.
And you just did it.
Not only did she just do it, but you do it all the time with your boys.
Yes.
Because that's what we tapped into with Dana too, we are mothering ourselves, we are nurturing ourselves, I should say. So when like your kid shows up and goes, oh, I'll never make it, nobody will ever like me, nobody's ever gonna date me or whatever. We talk them down off the ceiling, gently. We don't say, oh, you're the most amazing person in the world, be quiet, you're fine, and go to Z. We incrementally go, really? You feel that way? Oh man, there's so many cool things about you. You know, we're able to coach our kids through a tough spot, and you know how to do that, and I know how to do that. But boy, doing it for ourselves, it's such a challenge.
It's harder.
Yeah.
Such a challenge.
Yeah.
You know why? I think sometimes and we didn't get a chance to get into this, the cycle of perpetual sameness, and we will come back to that, Dana, because I think it's an important aspect.
What is it called?
The cycle of perpetual sameness, and I'm not going to try to describe it. I'm going to let her do that on our next show. But the idea, though, is we get stuck in a place that is comfortable because it's familiar. And so internally, we stay there because that's what we're used to. And the thought that we might actually be able to pull ourselves out of that spot it's a little scary sometimes.
Well, not only pull ourselves out, but this is classic stuff in terms of weight loss. There are people who, like a woman loses a significant amount of weight, and now her husband is weirded out, like, well, who's looking at you now, and who's checking you out now? Maybe you'll leave me. Maybe I'm not good enough for you. Like when one person changes in a constellation, in a social situation, there is a ripple effect.
Absolutely.
There is a ripple effect. So there's almost, I can understand some of that reticence to say, yeah, the devil I know is better than the devil I don't know, or whatever, like, okay, I might as well stay at this weight because my husband and I are in this groove and we care about each other, and whatever it might be. That's just a silly example, but yeah, you can understand why people kind of, what was the cycle of perpetual sameness kind of, there is something comforting about that.
There's something comfortable about what we're familiar with.
Right.
Yes.
Even if it hurts. Because you are not going to be willing to move to a new place until the pain of staying the same is greater
right,
than the pain of
not
moving.
changing.
When the pain of moving is greater than staying the same, you're not going to move. And that's key. So you have to decide, how much does it hurt to stay where I am? Am I ready to train my brain and move from where I am to where I say I want to be?
Right. And you need to train your brain, because your brain is automatically trained to solve the things that you tell it you want, right? So if you say, I'm broke, for example, your brain goes, oh, okay, well, how do we make sure that you stay broke? Because that must be what you want, because that's what you're saying.
That's what you're saying.
Right?
The
So,
reticular activating
about it.
system.
Right. You're thinking about it, so your brain's going, okay, let's make sure that happens,
Yeah.
And so if you start to go through this process, and if you're willing to say, you know what, I'm willing to change, I'm hopeful that I can, other people have done it, so can I, so let's retrain my brain, then your brain will start to solve those things. Oh, you
That's
want
what
to be
you're
in a better
going for.
situation. Okay, well, how do we do it? Let's figure that out.
It's huge.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to talk to her a little bit about the whole concept of mantras. I mean, we talked about mantras, but we didn't actually talk about where they come from and what the
what's
idea behind it is.
yeah.
Because I know a lot of people have
Negative
negative association to that word, and yet a mantra is just something that you put into your unconscious mind by saying it over and over and over and over again.
positive
Yeah, well, she gave
reinforcement.
an amazing example of, a woman who lost 100 pounds, was it? 100 pounds by saying, my weight is just falling off of me. And she imagined in her mind her weight falling off and plopping on the floor. So that was her visual that she used.
Yeah.
And that mantra repeated over and over and over again with that visualization caused her to lose that much weight.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And we were talking just before we started this role that we were eating Cadbury eggs just telling everybody we're eating the chocolate, and we were saying we were reviewing. Oh, the weight's dropping off of me, and Debbie says, "Well, not when we're eating Cadbury eggs." And Linda and I said, "Well, maybe the mantra might work, and we could really, use them synergistically."
I don't think
we'll
so.
test it out. Let you all know.
I don't think so. Eating Cadbury eggs, the weight ain't dropping off. You got to take some action to go along with the mental.
Oh, all right.
Affirmations. But what I think is important to recognize is there are a lot of people out there who talk about positive affirmations, and the struggle. I hear some people who say, "Oh, it worked," and yet there's so many people who say, "Oh, I tried positive affirmations, doesn't work for me."
Right.
And there's two things going on here. One is the key thing is you're jumping too far down the emotional scale.
Yeah.
You're jumping from frustration all the way to happiness.
Happiness and
they're
hope
like, and I don't remember exactly everything that's on the scale. I've seen a picture of it, but you can't jump from there to there. You have to go through anger,
frustration
through anger to hope to, I forget what the other pieces are, but you have to take it one step at a time, and you can't just jump there.
Exactly.
It doesn't work. And that's why positive affirmations are good, but they have to be accessible to where you are.
Another thing I heard her say about positive affirmations is that there's a mentality out there about that the universe gives us what we need and good. And what she's saying is it's us that's lining up with the universe or God's world or the kingdom of life or what There's a lot of money out there. If we're talking about monetary wealth, there's a lot of other things to seek after. But we gave the example of being broke. Being broke, the opposite of being broke to me is paying my bills plus going on 3 vacations a year. That's my definition of wealthy. I don't need $17 million, but I would like to be able to pay all my bills and go on 3 awesome vacations a year and
Give away a lot of money.
Give away a lot of money. That would be my definition of wealth. But all that to say is that there's plenty of money out there. It's not like the universe is withholding from Wendy.
No.
It's my job to train my brain to move along that scale and to say, I am not, a broke person, or I'm not other people have done it. Other people have figured out how to run a business that's really grooving and moving, and I'm a smart person, like to just like I said, mother myself, nurture my best self, as opposed to heaping ashes on my head,
Right.
which I tend to do. So it's inside. It's an inside job rather than sitting around waiting for the universe to drop something in my hands.
I like that. It's an inside job.
Right?
It is an inside job.
It is.
It's very important to take care of yourself first.
Yep.
And one of the things she also talked about was making a long list of all the things that you're grateful for, the things that you appreciate. I'm going to take that a step further, actually, and I'm going to say the other piece of that. And we mentioned the word perspective, and I'm going to give a different twist on the word perspective because I think that's correct, but it's also meaning. What meaning do you give to it? So in other words, if you write down that if you write down that I'm grateful that my husband has married me and he's an awesome man. Well, what does that mean to me? And I think that's the second step. It means to me that he takes care of me, that he loves me no matter what I am and what I do. Right. That and so you can write down, yes, this is what I'm grateful for and what I appreciate and what it means to me, and you can actually get really long on the meanings.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's an extra step that I would add.
Definitely, I love that.
That's really a great way of a great view into life.
Yeah,
what it means
you
to me.
can transform your life really of just doing that. Make that a daily practice.
Daily practice. Write down 3 things you're grateful for and what each one of those things means to you.
Because when you're in a place of feeling grateful, it's really hard to feel negative.
Yeah. It is. You can't. And your RAS, the reticular activating system, the more you focus on things that you're grateful for, the more all of a sudden you're going to start to notice.
You're going to see
You're going to say, oh my gosh, I'm grateful for that, I'm grateful for that, and this good thing, and that good thing, and oh look, all these good things are starting to happen to me.
And what's the proof
I never
of
noticed
that?
before.
What's the proof of that is whenever you get that brand new 2015 Chevy Impala, everywhere you look in
There
the
it is.
world. There's a 2015 Chevy Impala. We've all
Chevy
had,
Impala.
well, whatever. We've all had that experience where you get the car and all of a sudden everybody on the road has that car.
Same car.
Well, they don't literally, but your mind, your reticular activating system is tuned into seeing it.
Yeah.
And so that happens all the time. And there's a medical word for it, I wish I could remember, where we gather, we take in the information that's already sitting there. So that's what Debbie's saying, and we're all saying, is that if we think about certain things, we're going to be able, and positive things, we're going to be seeing them everywhere we look. We're going to line that up. We're going to use the brain that we got to actually help us feel better and be more productive and be more successful, whatever that may mean to you.
Yeah, and I've used almost the exact same explanation when people start talking about, kind of woo-woo stuff and the universe, which I think is actually a noun, like rock or tree. But when people start to, it's a phone in the background, but sorry, ignore it. When people start to say, oh yeah, so you just got to think about this and the universe will bring it to you. Well, what Dana and I talked about when we first met and sat down and had lunch together was, it's the reticular activating system that does that. And the example that I have usually given is when we were looking for a new front door for our house a couple of years ago. I think I've mentioned this before. I never noticed front doors before until we were looking for a front door for a house. And all of a sudden, I couldn't drive down a road without looking at all the front doors.
Yeah.
And what their variations,
the colors, and whether they have windows. So that was the case of my RAS helping me filter out all the other stuff and focusing on what was important to me at that time.
Yeah.
Because if your RAS weren't filtering out everything else, we would be absolutely overloaded with information.
Absolutely.
So we depend on it to filter into our lives the things that we want to focus on. So you need to tell your RAS, you need to tell your brain what to focus on.
Yeah.
And
I think the whole thing of thinking the universe is something separate from you. That you're going to get something from there's some outside force that's going to give you something. It's not. It's inside.
It's inside. I like that. It's an
It's an
inside job.
inside job.
I think that's what our title
Or
is.
going into alignment with, because the world is a very big place, the universe, whatever. The sun does rise in the east and set in the west every single day of our lives, and the seasons go around and around. So there is something bigger than us, but we're part of it, and to line ourselves up with it rather than just sitting there like a repository waiting for some great big, feedback to come down and land in my lap.
Right.
How many times have any of us had our conversation with our teenage sons about that? Like, I don't know where you think this money comes from, but Dad and I work really hard to get this to you. It just doesn't
We're
drop
still
out
waiting
of the
for the
sky.
feedback to come down, but just,
That little money tree that we're growing out in the backyard.
It happened, that's right. My little gold pot when the rainbow happened.
Right.
Yeah.
So, well, listen, this has been a great conversation, lots of fun, and we hope that
You can tell we had a lot of fun with Dana.
Yeah, we did. We're still we just finished talking to her.
Yeah.
We're still kind of riding high about it.
Yeah.
So thank you,
Yeah.
Dana. Awesome conversation. We
Yeah.
can't wait to talk to you again. And
Everyone should get her book.
Yeah, get
Everybody.
the book, and if you can, get her program, Train Your Brain. At least get the free version. Did you wrote that down?
DanaWilde.biz, and Wilde is WILDE.
Yeah.
And she said there's an hour-long program on
Free
it
training.
for free.
For free, yeah.
Hello.
So check
For
that
favorite
out.
price.
Yeah. So check that out and get it for free. And if you love it, get her program. I'll vouch for it. I have it. Train Your Brain is awesome. Really great stuff. So
Great.
hey everybody, you have been listening to yet another episode of The Mighty Married Moms. We are thrilled to be able to be part of your life. We hope that you will share this show with your family and friends so that we can be part of their lives also. Please leave us a rating and a review. Positive would be awesome, but not required. If you hate us, well, no, leave a positive review.
You hate this.
Yeah, you can't hate this stuff, right?
No.
Leave us a positive review on iTunes. Download it onto your computer and go leave a positive review on iTunes. We would really appreciate it. And this is the Mighty Married Mom signing off, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Have a great week.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Mighty Married Moms. Tune in twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays to meet fascinating and inspiring guests who will help you create the life you've always wanted.
You can find these episodes and special gifts just for you at mightymarriedmoms.com, as well as a link to our Facebook community.
where we continue the conversation around the kitchen table. Please also help share the love by leaving a review on iTunes. We'll see you next time.